Not really.
The internet. That's right. I touched the internet and I saw that it was good. Thus was born Odin.
Oh, well, the internet. How exciting! Agent 34, have you seen the internet? He must be crazy.
Cat pictures, hashtags, memes. Yes, I saw it all. And I knew then that it must be mine.
Watch out!
So this is Robo Recall, one of the premier and also free games that you get with the Oculus Rift Touch bundle. And I gotta say, it's pretty darn excellent. It's a lot of fun to play. It's got a good amount of depth to it and a huge amount of skill and variety of things to do in the game levels and the missions. To get more information on the game and the Oculus Rift Touch bundle, check the link in the video description. Thank you very much to Oculus for sponsoring this video. Now, as you can see from the intro clip, there's a good amount of personality in this game. A lot of humor mixed into it, sort of the silliness of the robot uprising in the plot line is not taken too seriously, and that's fun. It sets you up for a game that's fast-paced, fun, exciting. It does have its sort of jump scare moments from time to time, or just those frantic moments where you might be getting overrun by the mass quantity of robots charging you. But once you actually kind of get past some of that and get a better grip on the game, what you're left with is a really fun, challenging game in which you can constantly test yourself and try and take your skills to the next level, beating your scores and other people's scores around the world by basically performing better at these missions, dodging the enemies, making sure you don't get shot, doing cool combos for extra points. You can get up even higher on the scoreboard and doing cool things like grabbing bullets out of the air and throwing them back at robots. Is a very cool way to not only get more points, but just make the action feel that much more awesome. The depth of skill is quite impressive in this game, and the more you play it, the more tools you realize there are available for defeating your enemy. You can simply teleport up to a robot, grab it, rip its head off, and get some good points that way. You can pick up a robot, throw them at the enemy, get good points that way. You can trip up robots by throwing them into other robots. You can pick bullets out of the air, throw them into the enemy. You can pick up certain robots and use them as guns against other robots. There's a lot of cool little tricks. You can even throw your guns when you're out of ammo at the enemies, and it will either kill them or trip them up or slow them down, depending on how hard you hit them with it. So there's all these cool little tricks and little things that you learn about the game the more and more you play it, and all of them can be used in combination to get you more points, do cooler combos, and essentially get higher up on the scoreboard. So generally speaking, getting really high on the scoreboard means doing a lot of cool combos and a lot of cool moves. The missions also vary in terms of what you do. You're not always just blowing up robots non-stop the whole time. Sometimes you're collecting robots in these funny little collection missions. There's a bunch of boss fights where you're fighting that Odin boss creature, and then there's a bunch of missions where you have to sort of protect a relay system where the robots are all assaulting it. You have to sort of defend it standing there. So they give you a good amount of variety, and for a game that comes free with the Oculus Touch bundle, it's certainly one of the better ways to show off the system, and really should be one of the first games anybody plays or tries out with the Oculus Touch, provided of course that you do enjoy shooter games. All the shooting mechanics are generally based around pistol style weapons. You have the ability to sort of go into a gun range, which is pretty cool, and start customizing a revolver, a pistol, shotguns as backup weapons, energy rifles as backup weapons. Actually, that's all the firearms, I believe, that you can customize in the game so far. So you kind of have some combination options, and the more you play the game, the higher levels you get, the more stuff you'll be able to unlock and customize your weapons, which essentially will allow you to play more effectively, get more points, and get higher up on the leaderboard and the scoreboard if that's something that you enjoy doing, which I gotta say, it is fun. It is fun trying to beat your old scores or compete with your friends or compete on the global leaderboards. Now, my first playthrough of the game, I was mostly just trying to survive and complete the objectives, which I imagine most people will be trying to do because it's all new. You're kind of freaked out by the new bad guys and everything that you're going up against. Once you get a little bit more comfortable with it, you can start trying some different tactics to get more points, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm sort of teleporting up to these robots and ripping their heads off, which not only gives me decent points, but it allows me to collect their parts, which increases my multiplier, which you can see in the lower left-hand corner. So basically, when you take damage, it reduces your multiplier, and when you collect points and get more points and robot parts, it basically increases your multiplier, and this can allow you to get a much higher score. And so this is something that I started getting interested in after I beat the game once over. Now it's like, okay, how can I get all the other stars on the missions? Much like you do in a lot of other games, you know, you can complete a mission, but maybe the mission has 5 stars. How do you get all 5 of those stars? Okay, you need to get more points. You need to play in certain play styles, and usually those play styles will teach you new tactics and ways of getting even more points. And that's really where a lot of the fun of this game comes in, or the longevity of this game, because once you get comfortable with the teleport system, you understand that it starts to slow down time as you activate teleport, and once you finish a teleport, so you can use it very much to sort of slow down time, dodge shots and that sort of thing, and get in behind enemies and get some nice accurate or clean kills that way. So once you get really good with teleporting, you start using it a lot more, the game kind of opens up. New tactics open up and new ways of completing missions. Now this here is a giant robot, and you can actually teleport on top of them, rip off a control panel, and then basically gain control of this robot. And I gotta say, in VR it feels really cool because your hands now become this giant robot's hands, and you can use his left arm to like melee guys that get close to you, and his right cannon is just this massive beam laser. You have no targeting reticle, you just kind of sweep this massive beam laser around the map, zapping robots, and it's freaking awesome. It's a really fun experience. So one thing that is regrettable about YouTube is that it is hard to convey just how much cooler VR games are actually in VR. There's so much depth and, well, frankly, peripheral vision that you guys aren't seeing because my view is kind of constrained based on it only showing one camera and my 2 eyes having a lot more view. So it does look kind of flat when watching on YouTube, to say the least, and sort of judging the depth in VR and that kind of stuff, and seeing shots or targets at really far range, or watching bullets fly past your head in slow-mo is really something that doesn't come across quite so well on YouTube, and is one of those things that you kind of have to experience for yourself. And I'm watching this back and thinking, man, that's a lot of robot parts that I am not picking up right there. I certainly could have gotten a huge amount of points and a huge amount of score. So it's one of those games that you can kind of analyze your gameplay, or think about what you did or how you messed up in a mission to try and get more points, or try and play more efficiently. And it is really fun getting in close and using different combos. Things I want to work on are like picking up robots and throwing them at other robots a bit more frequently, throwing my weapons more frequently at other robots, and batting bullets out of the air. Because not only can you pick bullets out of the air with your hands and throw them at other robots, but you can also bat them away with your guns. Anyway, if you have VR and you haven't played this game, I highly recommend checking it out. And if you're thinking about getting VR, check the link in the video description. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.
Until the recallers have the situation under control, the one thing you absolutely must do